Welcome to Face to Face. This is a show about change and about what's next. It's a show that wants to ask questions, peel back the layers of our average everyday experience, and go beyond scratching the surface. We interview amazing people with incredible ideas and stories who have done wild, weird, and wonderful things. Remember that imagination shared create collaboration, and collaboration creates community, and community inspires social change. I'm David Peck, and this is Face to Face.
So my next interview was another real treat at the Toronto International Film Festival, and kind of a late night edition, I guess you could say, to the festival. Closed Midnight Madness. The film's Crazy World, and IGG Nabwana and VG Emmy, or the Video Joker Emmy, was with us, and Alan Huffmanis as well, who's a co-producer on the film. Isaac has made over 50 films. A Ugandan, as he's been called, Gonzo Action Auteur. This is a film that you're going to want to see, and you're going to get to see it somewhere out there on the internet in the very near future. These guys were in town, and they had just arrived. I mean, we did the interview at the hotel in Toronto, and they had been having one heck of a time getting into Canada, coming right from Uganda, and having a tough time with visas and travel issues, and the list goes on. And it was all worth it, as it turns out. Multiple standing ovations. We had a great time chatting about the industry. I mean, this is a guy in Uganda. This is a guy who's been making films with budgets of under $200, and it's really quite remarkable what he's been able to accomplish. We talk about storytelling. We talk about African storytelling. We talk about Ugandan cinema and this community of filmmakers, really, that Isaac has brought together, and how he sees them as co-creators and co-collaborators. And he talks about relationship and love and empowerment, and it's really quite lovely and quite beautiful. And it's a really interesting interview with Alan, and how he packed his bags and headed to Kampala to meet with Isaac, and calls them geniuses for good reasons. So listen in. It's a lot of fun. You got to check the film out. It's about an hour long. It's called Crazy World. You're going to hear about it almost for sure. And they're working out of Wakaliwood. And Uganda's outrageous action auteur, IGG Nabwana's Crazy World, receives multiple standing ovations at world premiere, closing TIFF Midnight Madness for 2019. How cool is that? They're coming right up. Don't forget davidpecklive.com for more information about my writing and my speaking. You can get a copy of Real Change is Incremental there. You can also find out more about the podcasting that I'm doing at facetofacelive.ca. I'm hoping you've already subscribed through iTunes, and if you haven't, please do. Please leave us a review too. Forward this on to your friends. Sign up for our newsletter. You can do that online. If you can support us through Patreon financially, that would be utterly brilliant, and we would appreciate it. You'll get a shout out here at least, if not more. And if you can't do that, a review would be appreciated. So please head to iTunes or Spotify and leave something there for us, if you would, if you're getting behind what we're doing. And don't forget, you can also advertise here as well. We've got newsletters. Sign up for that, by the way. We've got newsletters you can advertise in, banner ads on the website, and of course shout outs on the actual interviews themselves. Don't touch that dial. And don't forget rabble.ca, where I'm also hosted on a whole other platform, News for the Rest of Us, writers, bloggers, podcasters, people talking about political issues, social issues, things that matter, News for the Rest of Us, rabble.ca. And coming right up, a four-way interview, I guess, from the Toronto International Film Festival about a new film coming out of Uganda called Crazy World. Well, welcome to Face to Face. We are joined by three very special guests who have come a heck of a long way to be here today at the Toronto International Film Festival for Midnight Madness. But more importantly, it's not so much about Midnight Madness. It's to premiere a new film called Crazy World. Yep. Coming, I can say this, direct from Uganda, really.
Closing night, man.
Right? Closing night. How crazy is that? So we are here to have a conversation with a VJ, a producer, a director, a group of people who have been doing some pretty incredible things for the last, well, I'm not even sure how many years, but it's about 40 films now. Guys, welcome to Toronto and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still don't quite believe it's true.
Still don't quite believe it's true. We'll tell you what. Why don't we start here and introduce yourself and tell us why you're here. I mean,
okay, we can start with me. But so my name is Alan Hoffmanis. I'm from Long Island. That's my name there. In Uganda, what is it? There's Alan Sali Owe and Chima Mafeni. Alan Sali Owe and Chima Musaja Waka.
Great, more than one name.
Mafeni Yesumu. And I want Isaac, since you brought it up, can you explain what Mafeni is?
Yeah, Mafeni just means big fruit, jackfruit.
Big fruit?
Yeah, jackfruit.
Oh, jackfruit. I know.
A bunch.
Why is he a jackfruit?
Because he had a big stomach.
Oh, nice.
He came, by the time he came to us, he had a big stomach. And,
Oh, okay.
it's a joke in Uganda if you're big.
So if
like
you're
especially
big,
I see it in Western movies where, these huge policemen, they are normally called Mafeni by these VJs.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
so charming. I know.
That's very charming. So you
great.
basically came to Uganda to lose weight.
Well, by wasn't the plan. It was not the plan, but no. At one point, I lost over 55 pounds.
Right.
It was pretty serious.
Okay.
But no. So they'll talk a bit, introduce themselves. But Wakaliwood and Isaac Nabwana have been making films for 15 years, and just for me, I mean, I'm not a filmmaker per se. I mean, my background is in production, but then I was a film festival program director for a number of years, and a trailer for one of his movies went viral in 2010.
Okay.
So it was Who Killed Captain Alex. That was 60 seconds, and there was a 30-second Tevatesula. And that's 2010. And then I saw it in 2011.
Define viral, Alan.
Viral. Well, each one had millions of views.
Yeah, just
huge,
millions
and millions of views. Yeah. And the short story for me is that my girl dumped me the day I bought the wedding ring, and 2 weeks later I became a Ugandan action movie star.
Wow. Okay.
Who's laughing? But it's basically that. But what happened was...
I was about to say it.
So this is a boy meets girl, boy loses girl story here.
Boy's still trying to get. I hope she's listening. Or like,
yes,
I would have left her for this, to be honest. But whatever. So I'm being honest. But because I think that this is, I threw everything away to help get these films.
Actually, he was trying to look for a good place to lose his stress, right?
To lose stress. But then as Isaac tells me and Emmy, is that we need to build a film industry, and that means we need to build it. We need the children. You need to have kids.
Isaac, tell us a little bit about yourself and what are you doing in Toronto?
Yeah, my name is Isaac Nabwana Godfrey Geoffrey, normally known as Nabwana IGG. In fact, I'm the founder of Wakaliwood, and I'm also the director. I wrote this movie, Crazy World, which we have here in Toronto at the Crossing Day. And for me, it has been a struggle, coming here, but having a movie here in Toronto is like a dream coming true. That is what I could say about it. Yeah, but I'm here for that movie, Crazy World.
And we're going to hear more about the 40 films. Is that?
Yeah, more than 50 movies.
More than 50 movies.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've been for about 15 years. Is that
15,
right?
Yeah.
About 15 years.
2005. That's when I started. In fact, by 2005, I was learning how to do it. So I started in 2008 making a movie.
Right. Well, you've been very busy.
Yeah.
And our VJ?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're like the live narration for the film.
The voice.
So tell us who you are and a little bit about that.
Simply, VJ Emmy, Sebanyiga Moses, Emmanuel. My dad gave me those names. My mom gave me Emmanuel. So I turned it into a business name, and I cut it into short, VJ Emmy, from Emmanuel. Yep. So I've been doing VJ professionally from 2008. I was translating Western movies, actually, because where I come from, people in video halls and homes, they don't watch movies when they are not translated.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
They don't watch.
They're just not interested.
Yes. If you do not translate, they want to watch. So when it came to our local industry, we had to put the local industry in the market. So it had to be a war, because the local industry won't sell if it's not translated. So that's when that's where I came in. Mr. Isaac called me and gave me the first title to translate. That was Who Killed Captain Alex in 2011. It was my first movie in our local language to translate. Yeah.
So sometimes you're actually like tonight when the film plays, you're going to be live translating, adding,
spicing, all
that's
that.
Right. Almost. And does that change every time you do that? It would be different every time, or do you have an actual kind of written script, or is it all? It's all here, right? It's all here. I'm pointing to my chest, by the way, my heart. Here. It's all here. He's pointing to his head. Emmy's pointing to his head. I bet it's a blend. I bet it's both. A little head, a little heart. Yeah,
okay, heart is for the passion for the movies.
Yeah.
Because I love movies a lot.
Yeah, sure. I bet.
Sometimes back I used to dream them. I used to be like when in the middle of the night, I would be like, when the morning is coming, I want to watch movies. I want to translate movies.
How many do you think you've done? And how many films have you translated, do you think, with the live VJ?
Live VJ?
Well, as a VJ.
As a VJ?
Yeah.
I think more than 5,000 titles.
More than 5,000 titles.
So.
Wow.
Because every week, I think he can even translate more than 20. It depends.
So are these then movies that will be seen in a local space, a church, an auditorium, something, or on DVD?
People want to watch actually in the video halls. You come and you sit in front of the audience as you're gonna witness.
Yep.
Here, Tiff.
Here.
So you be in front. You have a microphone and a mixer. Do we have a mixer there yet?
Nope. So we're working out some details
you,
here,
man. You got to go.
Sorry? How are we going to do this without a mixer?
We'll do that.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Tell me about the trip over. It sounds like it was pretty complicated, pretty hard to get here. It just shows me how I love you guys, by the way, already, and I hardly know you, but the passion and the commitment is coming out in a variety of ways. Isaac, a dream come true, sort of, to be here in a way, or is that putting too much emphasis on it? Or
I don't even need to put much emphasis on it, because where I come from is Africa, where people have got they have a mindset that we cannot make action movies, and now if one of the movies is coming to TIFF and is having this privilege of closing the whole event. That is something big. The way I started, it was like I wanted to start. Even my brother, who believed in me, said, "No, you cannot. You don't have the $1 million. How can you make a movie?" So my grandmother, who is the late Rachel. In fact, the first company I made was Ramon Film Productions, and then the Rachel Ara means Rachel. I just in respect of her. She never wanted me to make movies, and she knew me from childhood. She saw me, as an artist. She saw me, drawing, comics from books, and
saw the spark.
Yeah, so she should have, encouraged me, and it's like I'm feeling like I have the command to tell people that please let us, empower talents from childhood. So there's a lot I can say about this, but coming to TIFF is a good. I mean, is a big journey. It is not me alone. It has been a team. Alan joined, Emmy, and so many. There's a Wakaliwood family. I saw my wife yesterday when we are struggling to get our passports back to Uganda, because Canada has no embassy in Uganda. Mm-hmm. So our passports were in Tanzania, and she was like, let me stay here on the laptop to communicate with this Toronto, and it was like communication, and Tanzania was communicating, and so I saw that responsibility. I mean, that commitment with the lady in Tanzania. I don't know how, but she was fighting every 30 minutes, calling me. Do you know it? So
we have to get you there, basically.
Something like that. It was a mission. It was like a mission, and the movie was already here, and I was already happy in my mind that Peter had already said the movie is going to show here. But whatever, you'll be on Skype. I normally do this on Skype anyway. But it was like, a mission. It was, I saw it, it's like a movie. I'm figuring out, making a movie out of this.
Really? This will be next year at TIFF. This will be opening night TIFF.
This is opening
next
night.
year.
Yes. Yeah, Alan, tell me your story a little bit, because I find it fascinating that you kind of, I didn't know it was a boy meets girl, boys loses girl, but tell me a bit more about dropping everything to come and join these guys.
That was not the plan exactly.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, it evolved into it. No, but I think you said a little bit. It's like we're all probably very different backgrounds, but we all love movies, man, and we like sharing them. And the best thing is an audience laughing who you don't even know who they are, and they're laughing, and that's it. And so for me, I just saw 30 seconds and then 60 seconds, 2 different ones on YouTube, and I couldn't get it out of my head, and again, I had millions of views, but no information, because people didn't know. Maybe this is Saturday Night Live Nigeria. Maybe someone made clips but no movie. But I understand film, and I'm looking at the clips, and I think, no, I think this is a finished film that someone, and that's it. I bought a plane ticket to track them down, and the first night, we talked all day, and then at night I said, look, I want to help.
What did you think when you meet this crazy American who's dropped everything to come and find you?
At first, I didn't know that he had a
Did
problem.
you believe him?
I didn't know his problems. For me,
That's right.
For me, it was an asset. It was an asset, having,
Sure. I've got some help.
Yes, I know it was not even help. It was like, I have got a Muzungu, because most movies, the image of movies in Uganda is white. If
Sorry, what do you mean by that? Like white in the sense of it's Western?
It's a Western.
It's a Western thing. Yeah.
Yeah, people have seen many movies with Rainbow, Schwarzenegger, and other.
Got it.
Yes, there's these. My favorite is Samuel Johnson. I like him very much, but he's not dominating in Uganda. People know him, especially us who are in love with movies. But what we know most is Lembo, Schwarzenegger, like me, Chuck Norris, and others. So when I looked at him, he looked like Chuck Norris. Now I have my own Chuck Norris in ad, so I can use him in all ways, to promote, the movie industry, because my aim was marketing. I wanted to widen the market of Ugandan movies, because Ugandans were not believing in me. So when he came, when he's in a movie, people can relate it with these Western movies they're used to. That is, in fact, that's how even VJ had to come in, because people were used to translated movies. So I had to look for a VJ to translate my movies so that they can also fit in cinema halls and everywhere. So that is how I took him. I looked at him and then I said, this is an asset. He's going to help promote the film industry, not only Uganda, even Africa.
Right.
And then for me, I'm there, and I'm thinking they're geniuses. And for me, I love it. Like I am there. I love the whole thing. But I think a lot of people would love it, And then my mission then was the translating of it, like the properly subtitle it. And the big thing is with Emmy, because Captain Alex is the first film with the VJ that's translated into English. And everyone, because he would have the VJ, I would be in a room, a video hall they're called, and it could be the size of this bedroom here. The dirt floor, 2 TV sets.
Right.
One is the movie, one's the soccer game with the volume off.
Sure.
Because maybe that's more interesting. But Emmy would be VJing and just telling the movie, one of Isaac's films, and it could be like 150 people just jumping up and down and screaming. And I'm like, how do I capture that?
Yeah. Right.
And everyone that I knew who was from the West there just dismissed it. Oh, because it's something in the villages. It's stupid. It's not respectful to the filmmaker. And maybe there's truth to that if you don't know, but it's also an art form itself. Yeah. So, I were like, well, let's translate it.
And is this a part of a Ugandan culture that a VJ this is just expected, that you would be at a film showing, or is this something that you, Isaac, have kind of pulled together to say, I want to really use this live component to my filmmaking and my storytelling? I
would say that VJs have been there before even the film industry of Uganda.
Sure.
As I would say that from our ancestors, the family setup was like in the evening, our ancestors, elders could, gather children and tell them stories. So it is in us, it is in our culture that we, we want to listen. So
nice.
VJ is something I think which started from our ancestors. So for me, as I told you, my target was marketing, because these guys had got a big market, and it was all Western movies. Yeah. So penetrating that market was not easy without a VJ. In fact, for me, if you look at my movies, they have double, audio layers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, did I say congratulations? Yeah. If I didn't, congratulations. It's a fun movie.
Oh,
it's
you've seen it.
I have seen it. I have seen it,
you.
and it's how do I say this? I couldn't not watch it. Like it was compelling. Like it drew me in on a variety of levels, because it's also just so interesting to meet you guys. It makes it that much better, frankly, because it's about the storytellers. Emmy, could you watch this film with just subtitles and have the same experience without you? Like, in other words, are you essential to the
You
the film?
mean to watch a film with the subtitles without VJ?
Yes.
Have you ever done that, Emmy?
I only do it because it's my job.
Oh, to research it, to see how to fix it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
But I can't watch a movie. Sometimes I watch a movie I translated, and I can laugh. It's not me when I'm watching, and it's something else when I'm VJing. To VJ, then that's when I'm working. Like when I'm watching the done work, then I feel something incredible. I'm watching a different movie from the one I watched. For us, we call it learning, studying. When I watch before translating, that's what we call studying.
And I think this is the first time outside Uganda.
Yeah.
Plus, it's with English or Katogo. It's mixed. How it's going to be. But
the first time this type of an experience,
yeah,
you mean?
I don't think it's ever.
Yeah.
Anyone ever, yeah.
Yeah, we have so many VJs in Uganda. But,
right, of course.
I think he's the first to do it outside Uganda.
Perhaps you're going to start a new trend.
That's what I think. I mean, I think
a new trend in the West.
The film's not finished till there's like a German VJ, an Armenian, and all this.
Isaac, what is it that drives you? Was it your aunt you were telling me about stirring up that artist in you as a child, or your grandmother? And you made the comment about we should encourage kids to draw and to create and so on. What is it in you that wants to tell these stories?
Yeah, there are so many ways I can tell it to you, but the first one is when I was young, I used to draw a lot comics. I could draw, an exercise. I mean, a football match, an exercise, an exercise book, like goalkeeper passes the ball to number two. In fact, I know the names of those players, like Latigo passes it to Omondi. I know that because I was a good fan of football.
Okay.
So I could draw the whole match. So, in fact, I also used to draw a lot of boxing. We had a very good boxing teams in those days. And so the drawing started from childhood, and I was spotted by, in fact, my class teacher, the nursery teacher, section teaching, when I was in primary 2. They used to call me and draw with 2 friends of mine. They used to call us during lunchtime, and then we draw for the nursery section. The rabbits, they put on the walls, charts. So later on, I had the word first artist. I had it from my grandfather. He found me drawing the president then, was Muito Obote, and then he said, "You are an artist." In fact, he asked, are you the one who drew this? I said, "I'm drawing it. I'm still drawing." He said, "You are an artist."
Wow.
He was old. And
so he
said,
named
"You are an artist." And I didn't know what he meant. Later on, because I didn't know English by that time, but later on I understood the word artist. But that is not enough to explain why I want to tell the stories, but also the help of my brother Robert. Robert, when we were young, he used to escape to watch movies in cinema halls. So he could come back because it was escape because we were not allowed to watch movies in local cinema halls. But that is in the 80s when the local cinema. What I mean by local, there were some big cinema halls which are normal, like Udian, Nita, and others, which were Indian cinema halls, big one. There were like 4 of them in Kampala. Nowadays they are churches. So we could not, manage them. So it is, we in the 80s, that is when these Ugandans started these local cinema halls made of woods and papyrus. So it was very easy to peep from outside, even you can watch from outside. But if a parent find you there, you were going to be caned.
You say you're not allowed to watch. Was that a Christian thing? Was that a religious thing?
It was a
moral?
It was a cultural
cultural thing.
It's moral, cultural. Because in my culture, In fact, the truth is, they were, preventing us from, violence, and that violence is not action violence, but sex violence. Most Western movies have got kisses and sex scenes. Which is not in our culture. In our culture, you will never. Our culture has got two languages. We have the bedroom language and the sitting room language.
Oh, okay.
So
I think my culture might have that too. Actually.
yeah, but we don't expose bedroom
right.
language.
Don't talk about that out here.
Yeah, it's not it's not be discussed.
Right.
So, but in Western movies, we see that it is always discussed. We see someone kissing in public. So that is why our parents never allowed us to go to watch cinema halls. So, but my brother used to escape and watch, especially these Chinese movies, because he liked Kung Fu a lot.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, and then also
I think
later on.
you do as well.
Yes, I do. I in fact, I got it from him, because that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
He could come back and tell you stories.
Right.
So when he tells you a story, you feel like you are watching the movie. And then
Nice.
I remember there's one which is not a Kung Fu, the Wild Geese. He narrated that Wild Geese to me, and I was like, I'm watching that movie. there was a black, I think it was a South African president who was, kidnapped, something like that. And he told me that story, and I felt like, I'm in the movie. But the problem is, when I watch the movies now, they're not good as he used to tell me. I want him to tell me more instead of watching the movie. If I could hire him to watch a movie and then come and tell me the movie.
You know what's so well? I wonder what he'd be like as a VJ.
Yeah, it's more of a VJ, because for him is using action.
Right.
And these VJs are using words.
Yes,
so that is the difference. For him,
yes.
he's a master. He's a Kung Fu master now.
Oh, okay.
And he has taught so many people in Uganda Kung Fu, and he went even to China. In fact, I went with him in China, and when he demonstrated, Nanchuan, one of the Kung Fu style, the abbot of the Shaolin Temple said, How comes that you learned it from books, from magazines? You know it better than me.
Right.
We were so happy with that. But that is how I could say that from him, I have the imagination. Whenever I'm doing an action scene, I always get that imagination back to me. I look at him and then I see him. He's good, but he's not good at acting. If I tell him to act, he's not as good as he can tell you that. The story.
Right. But still a great storyteller.
Yes,
and somebody who I love the fact that you made that point about how he named you as an artist. Yeah, he called you an artist, and I wonder to what he affirmed that. He called it out and made you feel worthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
As an artist?
Yes. That is...
Didn't devalue it at all, Isaac?
No.
Yeah.
For amazing. Me, I believe that. I believe that's what I had. I believe, normally I believe in talent. That is the first thing I believe in. I mean, if you tell me, do you believe in God? I believe in talent, because God is the giver of the talent, and that is the only thing He gives us. What you can call it knowledge, you can call it whatever, but it is talent.
Sure. So, your job is to get this out to people like me, to get these guys at TIFF.
You're listening to them,
so,
you know.
Yeah.
Talking about the movies, and Isaac is very, very passionate about Ugandan cinema and building the cinema. And then I'm looking at it but I think there's a big audience for this, and so it's more like it's a wonderful thing, but it's like this weight of responsibility kind of, because I tell you what I think the legacy of this is going to be, and it may sound crazy, but I think I'm right, and it's slowly happening. Is that places here like TIFF in Toronto and in the West in general, I think he'll have a great audience. I think he'll get a lot of respect and opportunities and fans. But I think when these films hit villages elsewhere, like in South America or Southeast Asia, places that don't have a lot of opportunities or anything technical, and they see these films, and they will understand instantly the conditions that they were made in, and the conflicts in making it, like the challenges in making it. And I'm convinced there'll be some kid watching this in South America, and in 20 years we'll know their names.
Right.
That's what, maybe much sooner than that.
The inspirational angle,
and so
the ingenuity.
So on one hand, yes, it's wonderful to be there and to be in the movies, because that's fun. Although I'm not an actor per se, but it's like he makes you love everything. So yes, I love acting in them and helping and whatnot. But it's what I thought is that these films have to come out properly, meaning like the films are maybe rough technically, especially at this point, but and we understand that people can maybe say, oh, it's so bad, it's so good, that kind of thing, and I get that. But if you take a moment, it's like it's not that, and so we understand it take a little time. It just, for me, it's like to give it just a chance on a proper footing, like any other film on the planet. Just put it next to anything else, and that's what TIFF saw. Like we're in the Midnight Madness opposite Mickey, opposite an indigenous zombie film that was opening up, and all these wonderful things. We are equal to all those. Perhaps not equal in budget or in this, but equal in entertainment. And that was my mission. And so in a lot of ways, this is end of a chapter. I think
in the beginning of something else, maybe in some respects.
I think what I think truly is that if Isaac was born in the West, I think he could have been famous and such 20 years ago with all this.
Just taking a little more time, Isaac.
Well, it's a curious situation, right?
Yeah,
it's never happened.
yeah,
It's like, a Hollywood agent's going to say, okay, can we do business with this? Part has nothing to do with us. It's just like it has never been done.
Yeah. What I love, Isaac, and any of you step in. I mean, you've used very low budgets. I think I read recently up to like $200.
What's the budget of this one, Isaac?
Less than that.
Less than that's amazing.
It's less than that.
See, what I love the ingenuity, right? The drive to actually see it completed is remarkable. The people you've got to convince to become a part of this. The things that you need to do, all the things that need to be shot and edited. There's just so much passion and commitment behind it.
Yep. And how do you get how do you get the people to stay together?
How do you get the people to stay together? You've built this community. It's really quite remarkable. What is it about the community that's what's the glue? What's the glue?
Yeah, I think the group should be responsibility. I mean, dividing responsibility is one thing, and discipline. Discipline is also another thing. Because if you go down there to Wakaliwood, you would see that we divide the responsibility.
It sounds like Hollywood, but it's Wakaliwood.
It's Wakaliwood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wakaliga is the dream.
Wakaliga is the dream.
Wakaliwood is
the village where I grew up.
Wakaliwood is the dream.
Yes, you could see that the setup there shows that we have a rehearsing room where we do our rehearsals every Wednesday and Saturday. And that rehearsing room has got, a leader who's called Sechi. Is always someone who coordinates everyone. But it's also, even if they are also chairman of all actors, they are makeup, and they are, even we have a discipline, one responsible for discipline. But if you see them, because normally I don't even attend the rehearsals, but if you see them whenever, even if maybe today is Saturday, I think they're down there, but they're there, working, and they don't know. Some of them don't know that I'm here, because I told you we got a chance to come on the last time. I mean, we just even rushed to the airport. We did not even go back. Yeah. Some of them might not know that we are here, but
which is hilarious.
But I tell you,
so funny.
They are there rehearsing.
Right. They're committed.
And yes. And they are not even, they are disciplined. I mean, what I mean by disciplined is that even if Sech is younger than some of the elder, some of them are older than him, they cannot even talk when he's talking. I mean, they have to raise their hands. So building that discipline from the beginning, we had it from the beginning. In fact, when we are starting, we sing our anthem. We have a Wakaliwood anthem. So after singing that anthem, no one can make noise in the rehearsing room until it is closed. So that the discipline, and also giving responsibility to each and everyone. So if you see Dawuda, making in his department of making, props, he has that, he feels it. Even if I come, he cannot stop. That is his department. He heads it. So I give that responsibility. I mean, if you divide the responsibility, that could bring everyone, keep someone he feels that he's proud. He's doing something there. As I told you, when we are acting, I also give a chance of actors to even contribute.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't have a sealed script that it cannot change, because these are written by people. We write it. So how can I say that it is sealed? So I give, because I know art is everywhere. Everyone can be an artist, a good artist. So you find even a kid, contributing, saying, what if we do it this way? You give him a chance or a chance. Sure. So you find out that that dividing responsibility and, working, connecting, and trying to give everyone, respect. Yeah, that is what brings the team strong every day.
Emmy, tell me what you're most looking forward to tonight. We're gonna have to wrap this up in a couple of minutes, guys. I really apologize. I feel like we're just getting going, and we should keep going. But I want to keep going. But we've the publicist is going to be knocking on the door. What are you most looking forward to tonight with the performance?
Actually, all in all, I'm so excited. Cause in Kampala there is no big cinema like the one we have Canada tonight. So I wanna be there. I wanna perform, and somebody told me you're gonna meet the audience of 1,500 people.
It's at Ryerson, yes?
Oh, yeah.
So
Ryerson.
it's a beautiful theater. Yeah.
I've never done that before, that audience.
You never worked for an audience of that
like
size.
that.
Yes.
So I want to do it to the fullest.
You know what it is? That is now the Ugandan embassy.
It's
When they enter, that is Uganda. And you teach them the Uganda.
that should be your opening
You
line.
don't know-
Welcome,
Visa is easy.
welcome to
Here you go.
Uganda.
No problem.
You don't know what I want to do
That is the.
to Toronto.
Uh-oh.
Because I want them back at home to know that something is big beyond their imagination. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great. We don't have to make this last question, but we're pretty close. I think I read, Isaac, that you find your stories sometimes in local headlines, and that this film was kind of a film about kids and actually kind of a cautionary tale almost about the kidnapping of children, and yet it plays sort of like a comedy. And I love how you mix genres and how you just break right into the middle of the story, and the piracy the piracy network is back in front of is there an angle to your storytelling where you're hoping to change the way people think as well as entertain them? Does that make sense? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, I think it is. First of all, I would say that when I'm telling my stories, the first thing which comes into my mind is that we are Africans and we have to tell our own stories the way we have to tell them. And mostly West, when they see our stories, sometimes they say that they are confusing. And I think even the setting up, because you don't know the setup, it has to confuse you until you learn it. I mean, meaning that for me, let me give you an example of Indians when they came to Uganda. That's my grandmother used to tell me that they were confused when we tell them that my father died, and then you come tomorrow and say my another father of mine died. That is confused them, and then they decided to say that if you're working with me, no death, no death report, no sickness, no what, you just have to work, because they were confused of our setup, meaning that we are in the extended family setup, and the West is in nuclear setup of family. So for us, uncles and what are all your father. So which confuses, I think, West, where they have one person, and that is a father, and then mother and children. Right. And that is also what is driving their storytelling. You find that they have one film star in a movie. For me, in my movies, you find like there are 3 or 5 film stars. So it is that is because, let me give you an example whereby my son, if my son inherits my father, he's going to be my father. I'm going to, even if it means to kneel, I have to kneel before him. So that is our way of telling. So I try to tell my stories the way I should tell them in the African style. And I believe that, everywhere people need to learn how we tell our stories. And I think it is a unique way. We have to promote it the way to the other side promoted theirs. So we need to tell our story. And I believe that we need to tell, and I emphasize on that, because there are so many stories which have been told about Uganda. And sometimes when I look at them, I feel like I want to make my own. And then they understand, like Idi Amin. Idi Amin, I know what West know about Idi Amin. I want to make my own story about Idi Amin. Maybe the other side of Idi Amin. They should know. Because I grew up, I was born during Idi Amin's regime. Right. At least I saw Idi Amin physically. So I know, I feel it, I have lived it. I was I was, understanding by the time he was overthrown. So I need to tell such stories. There are so many stories which have been told, like Queen of Katwe and others.
So many more stories to tell, and apparently way more to talk about as well. And I apologize, but anyone want to say a few last words before we wrap this conversation up here today?
We'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year. Hopefully, it won't be so difficult for you guys to get here. I'm so sorry. The passports and the visas.
Is this a game? Let me say this. Is this a game? My passport, they gave me like 7-year visa.
Oh, good. No. 7-year visa. Wow.
No.
I don't think so. Maybe 7-year passport. Wow. Well, why don't you just stay?
Well, Emmy, why don't you try it and see?
That's right.
Then that's another action movie. Let's see what happens when you try.
2027.
We've got another story in the making here. Another screenplay for you, Isaac.
What was that?
We've been talking with.
I'm okay to stay in Canada.
No.
Cut the mic.
That's right. Cut the mic. We've been talking with Alan and Isaac and Emmy here about their new fun, brilliant film, Crazy World, premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival. Guys, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.